Can you believe that I wasn't recording anything?
Are you still always knew where the English were?
Just realized.
Coming up on the right at the corner is the R Bar. Have y'all seen the series NCIS New Orleans? Yeah, they have a lot of episodes in the R Bar.
Look at that. This one, like, it's kind of trees and always on the side.
Now we turn back onto Esplanade Avenue. I want to draw your attention to all the trees along the avenue. These are called live oak. They get the name live because they don't drop their leaves like other oak trees. Now on the left, there's a restaurant called Porter Hall. They supposedly have the best hamburger in town. Porter Hall. But you can get steak, fish, pizza, everything. One of my favorite restaurants is the Goat House. And I like it because the wait staff is just really, really friendly. That's what here called Blupas. Right there is a restaurant, and down there a little bit on the left is the bar. Also Blupas. At night, both places have abandoned plates. But I like abandoned plates. Now this corner is American. Free African slaves. Now the street we're turning onto is called Rampart Street. Now the word rampart means a great big high wall that's typically built around the castle or sometimes the city. And it's to protect it from its enemies. On the outside of the high wall, you can put a boat filled with water and a drawbridge. We actually had a 30-foot high wall that went all around the world, from Rampart Street, Canal Street, Esplanade. And we built a moat on the outside, filled it with water, and then we filled it with alligators. And that'll keep those engines up. Now, New Orleans was one of the largest slave ports in the U.S., but we were French. And once we started to deal with slaves, the French government here passed a code of ethics on the treatment of African slaves in the city. They called it the Flag Code. And slavery was really horrible, not just because of the violence that a lot of slaves had to go through, but just the whole idea that they can own you like, I don't know, like a rake or a broom. You weren't considered human back then. But anyhow, we were a little bit more comfortable. But people would come and dance to the drum rhythms, they would sing. Now another thing you might want to do on your day off was work for money, especially if you've been trained in some kind of trade like blacksmith, carpentry, masonry. So you'd work on Sunday, and with the money that you'd gain on your Sunday, after about a year or two, you'd have enough to buy your freedom. That whole process was called manumission, and that's why we have this first neighborhood in the United States composed of entirely of freed African slaves. It's the way that most boats came into New Orleans. Most sailboats back then weren't able to sail up the strong current of the Mississippi River. And when the current wasn't so strong, when it didn't rain for a long time, there'd be sandbars at the mouth of the Mississippi, and boats trying to cross that area would get stuck in the sandbars and be stuck in there for months until we had a good rain and the water level went up. So the safer way, really rich. We're all going to get off and go into the cemetery, and I'm going to explain to you why we went to above ground. Let me count the people just to make sure I got the same amount leaving as going in.